Hey guys, what's up? It's Katie and I'm back with another Marvel Contest of Champions video. So thanks to the CCP, I have early access to the Super Skrull Champion Spotlight. So thanks, kabam. So let's go ahead and take a look at this guy because he's kind of interesting. At least in the comics, he basically has all the powers of the Fantastic Four. So let's go ahead and take a look at Super Skrull and see what we're working with. So he is going to be a cosmic champ, obviously. And Kl'rt was a highly decorated soldier of the Super Skrull Empire, but when the Super Skrull invasion of Earth was thwarted by the Fantastic Four, he was made into Super Skrull. The first and the greatest of the Super Skrulls, he was imbued with all of the powers of the Fantastic Four. When charged by the cosmic power beamed directly into his body from Super Skrull homeworld, he becomes even more powerful than those whose powers he mimics. Nothing can stop him, and he shall make the earth pay for what it has done to his people. Dun, dun, dun. All right, let's take a look at his mechanics and see what Super Skrull's working with here. All right. So Super Skrull is constantly receiving cosmic energy from the Super Skrull homeworld. In game, this means every 1 second he gains either a Fury buff or an Armor Up buff based on if his next action is an offensive, aka attack, or defensive, block, or is struck. Once Super Skrull gains 5 of these buffs, he enters into his overload state. His buffs unpause, but he gains additional buffs based on the number of Fury Armor Up buffs that he has as he overloads. The second layer of his buff rotation comes from using his special attacks to convert Fury into armor or armor into Fury, allowing him to carry some of his buffs between his overload cycles. Finally, Super Skrull is constantly attempting to invade the mind of his opponents with his hypnotic gaze, allowing him the ability to periodically falter his target and make them more vulnerable to energy damage. Oh, another falter champ. We just had a falter champ, kabam, kind of, with Strife. So I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know how I feel about this. We'll see. Well, let's take a look at him some more. All right, let's take a look at his strengths and his weaknesses. So, because this is where we decide who we're going to bring to fight him in the monthly event quest. All right, strength, multiple paused buffs. Super Skrull builds Fury and armor buffs, which he can keep active for the entire fight. This makes him great for paths where buffs are key. Controllable falter. Super Skrull's hypnotic gaze gives him a falter that begins paused. While the cooldown is quite long, it can allow him to completely avoid specials which are normally difficult or impossible to dodge. That's kind of nice. High incinerate debuff damage. Putting his Human Torch-like flames to good use, Super Skrull gets a large portion of his damage from his incinerates, letting him largely ignore his opponent's armor. Okay, so this guy's gonna give you some big incinerate damage, which makes sense, right? He's got Human Torch's powers. It just makes sense. All right, weaknesses. Multiple pause debuffs. Buffs can cut both ways. In some matchups, those same pause buffs, which were so valuable last quest, are a liability in this quest. Interesting. Incinerate immunity. With his special 2 incinerates and his Nova Fist overload buff. Oh, he's got Nova Flame too. Nice. Super Skrull inflicts a lot of incinerates. If these are taken away from him, you'll notice a difference in his damage output. So, time to bring Incinerate immune. Hello, Human Torch. Power control. Super Skrull can gain quite a bit of power once he's got his signature ability. This is a hint that he needs to be able to fire off multiple specials for his rotation. If this opponent can neither punish or prevent that power gain, it can force a reset on his rotation. So, I mean, a lot of Mystics control power, right? So, that's going to be interesting, though, because Claire controls power in her power gain in the Curse of Plague and not the Curse of Hellfire. So that'll be interesting to see. I'm kind of interested in him. It sounds like he's not going to be suicide friendly, though. All right, let's take a look at his abilities now that we kind of know about his mechanics and that sort of thing. So, enhanced physiology, immune to shock and incinerate. Okay, so he's not, that's because of Thing, right? Thing is immune to both, it is immune to shock, and of course, Torch is immune to incinerate. Fury buffs also grant block penetration, nice. Armor up buffs grant crit resistance. Super Skrull carries some base immunities from Thing, as well as giving himself slight, mostly defensive, relevant bonuses to his most common buffs. Hypnotic Gaze debuff. After a cooldown of 25 seconds, inflict a falter debuff on the opponent. This falter debuff lasts for 1 second, causes all attacks to miss, and begins paused. Falter is unpaused when Super Skrull is struck, blocks an attack, or an opponent misses. When this falter expires, there is a 100% chance that it is replaced with an energy vulnerability debuff, which reduces energy resistance by 1400 for 5 seconds. So he says his falter mechanic has to be paid attention to on both offense and defense. On offense, you have to choose between to try to time the energy vulnerability for max damage or using the miss to keep yourself safe. So this guy's sounding kind of complicated. I don't know. Let's read on. Let's read on and see what we're working with here. All right, let's take a look at some of his abilities again. So the energy, cosmic energy receptors. Every 1 second, Super Skrull reaches full charge and his next action creates a buff, resetting the charge. This charge is not affected by ability accuracy. Landing a hit or striking a block converts into a fury buff, increasing attack, and then being struck by or blocking an attack converts to an armor up buff, increasing armor. 5 of these buffs can be maintained at the same time. This is the mechanic that you'll play around most when using Super Skrull. Time your attacks to build a fury or block to gain armor ups. By controlling what buffs you build, you'll be able to control what extra buffs you get when you overload. So it seems like, I don't know how they're going to make him in the monthly event quest, but he's going to have a lot of armor up buffs, it seems like, and then go into overload. So, but I'm sure they're going to have a node where it's like, once he gains one, he gains the other. So allowing him to go into overload with both or whatever. So let's take a look at this cosmic energy overload buff and see what we're working with here. So upon reaching his cosmic energy receptor buff limit, Super Skrull gains a cosmic energy overload buff for 15 seconds and cannot build any more cosmic energy until it ends. All cosmic energy receptor buffs are removed when overload ends or it fails to trigger. Skrull gains additional buffs based on the armor up or fury buffs active when he enters overload. 4+ armor up buffs gain a vigilance buff for 15 seconds. That's nice. 8+ armor up buffs gain an unblockable buff for 15 seconds. So that's what we're going to have to watch out for. 4+ fury buffs gain an undermined debuff for 15 seconds, granting unblockable to any hit which the opponent auto blocks. That's kind of nice. And then 8+ fury buffs gain a Nova Fist buff for 15 seconds, granting 100% chance to incinerate on all attacks, dealing energy damage over 1.5 seconds, removing perfect block chance and reducing block proficiency. This is the payoff for playing around with the cosmic energy receptor buffs. Nova Fist is an obvious choice when damage is all you care about, and of course it'll come with the Undermine for free, but sometimes carrying a few armor ups into overload for that vigilance can really be nice. Yeah, especially for going like against evaders and stuff. So I have a feeling in the event quest, they're gonna make it so he gains both at one time and then goes into overload. So this is gonna be interesting. I'm trying to visualize this, and I'm a visual person, so like I have to get my hands on him to play around with him to really see how it's going to be. I want to see that damage coming when you have the 8+ fury buffs and go into the Nova for the damage. So let's take a look at his special attacks. Let's go ahead and take a look at his specials. So special 1, invisible boulder toss. Oh, no, please tell me you're not throwing an invisible rock at us. Super Skrull uses his prejudiced strength to tear apart the stage, making it invisible before hurling it at the opponent. Oh my god. On activation, convert up to 5 fury buffs into armor up buffs, increasing armor for 25 seconds. The second hit, this attack cannot be missed or auto blocked. So this is how you start getting your overload together. By passing fury to armor, you can effectively store it for the next rotation. So that's interesting. All right, and then special 2, we've got Elastic Firestorm. Stretching above from his opponent, Super Skrull unleashes a storm of firebolts blasting and burning all in his way. On activation, convert up to 5 armor up buffs into fury buffs, increasing attack for 25 seconds. Each hit has 100% chance to incinerate on hit, dealing energy damage over 15 seconds, removing perfect block and reducing block damage. So this is his damage payoff. This is clearly, if you're into damage, this is where you want to go. This is it. This is it. All right, now let's take a look at his special 3. Tapping into all of his powers, Super Skrull traps his foe in a force field encased firestorm. Oh my god. Before blasting them into oblivion. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I want to see this. I kind of want to eat a special 3 in the event quest just to see this. Gain an indefinite non-stacking aptitude, increasing the potency of future armor up, fury, and precision buffs by 60%, 100% chance to stun for 3 seconds. This is most useful in longer fights. This is definitely going to be useful in longer fights. I have a feeling too, Kabam might add in the rich get richer for his nodes. It's just a feeling I have just based on the buffs that he's getting. I can just kind of see it coming. All right, let's take a look at his signature ability and see what we got working with here. So this is called Self-Sustaining Power. While in Cosmic Energy Overload, Super Skrull gains a power gain buff granting 7.1% of a bar of power per second. So it's nice and simple. So basically, while you're overloading, you gain power. So this opens up, you know, basically all of his buffs, right? And on defense, it'll kind of, yeah, it'll be hard to find yourself kind of needing to keep the power in check. So now that we've seen about him, let's take a look at his synergies, shall we? All right, so we got here one with Iron Fist called Hostile Takeover. Super Skrull, each time you activate a Fury buff, there's a 100% chance to place an armor break on the opponent lasting 4 seconds, reducing armor by 150. And then Iron Fist, the first 4 of Iron Fist's personal armor break debuffs start paused while the opponent is suffering any armor break debuffs. The next buff triggered on them will be immediately nullified and an armor break debuff is consumed. I like that. I like that a lot for Iron Fist. And then you've got Hostile Takeover with Dr. Doom. Super Skrull start the fight with a Vigilance buff lasting 15 seconds, and that only affects Super Skrull. So that's kind of nice. All right, let's take a look at some more synergies here. All right, so the Brave and Bolder, unique with Human Torch, Invisible Woman, and Mr. Fantastic. So other synergy members, the last hit of special attack 2 grants Fury buff for 6 seconds, increasing attack by 15% of base attack. This effect is doubled if all the champions on this synergy are present, so that's nice for them. Rain of Fire with Thing, Invisible Woman, and Mr. Fantastic. I'm wondering why Torch isn't in on these ones. Other synergy members, the last hit of the... Oh, duh, because it's going to be... I know why. Other synergy members, I get it now. I see what it's doing. So it's basically taking out the Fantastic Four member that would benefit from it. Or not benefit from it, but basically has it. So the last hit of the special attack, 1 incinerates the opponent for 6 seconds. That's kind of basically like if you bring Torch with them already. So Force Block, unique with Thing, Human Torch, and Mr. Fantastic. Block proficiency increased by 5%. Perfect block chance increased by 10%. If all their champions in the synergy are present, well-timed blocks inflict up to 10% weakness debuff on the opponent. And then Herbie with Thing, Human Torch, and Invisible Woman. Other synergy members, if at or below 20% health at the start of the fight, heal 10% of max health over 6 seconds. Otherwise, gain 60% of a bar of power of 6 seconds instead. That's actually kind of nice. That's a good synergy. So, but anyways, guys, that is it for the champion spotlight for Super Skrull. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think of him? How do you think he's going to be? Does he sound overtly complicated? Or does he sound kind of like a nightmare? He's definitely a mashup of all the abilities of the Fantastic Four. So it'll be interesting to see how this actually plays out. I can't wait to get my hands on him and actually play him, because I don't always I don't make decisions based on how they look on paper. I actually have to physically play them first. So, but anyways, guys, as always, thanks so much for watching and enjoy this quick word from Kevin Smith.
Hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith, and if you enjoyed the mediocre MCOC video full of scrub gameplay, then show Katy some love by hitting like and subscribe, man. Katy don't ask for much. Katy did ask for this. Katy did. So do like Katy did and bug people and get you to like and subscribe, man. She's doing that MCOC beautifully, not mediocre. Katy!